Amid a series of increasingly stark warnings from Benjamin Netanyahu about Iran, the Iranian president has now escalated the rhetoric by issuing a dramatic war remark aimed squarely at the West. Masoud Pezeshkian declared that the United States, Israel and key European powers are waging what he called a full-fledged war against Iran, accusing them of systematically trying to weaken and pressure the Islamic Republic on every front. Pezeshkian made these remarks on December 27 during an interview published on the official website of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Pezeshkian said in his interview, and I quote, "In my opinion, we are in a full-fledged war with America, Israel and Europe. They do not want our country to stand on its feet. Our dear military forces are doing their jobs with strength, and now in terms of equipment and manpower. Despite all the problems we have, they are stronger than when Israel and the US attacked. So if they want to attack, they will naturally face a more decisive response. This war is worse than Iraq's war against us. If one understands it well, this war is far more complex and difficult than that war." Pezeshkian's remarks came at a moment when the Israeli Prime Minister was making multiple pointed statements about Iran, creating an atmosphere of escalating verbal confrontation between Tehran and Israel. On December 24, Netanyahu's office released an AI-generated video clip to mark 6 months since the brief but intense Iran-Israel war, using stylized imagery to signal Israel's continued readiness and resolve. In the video, Netanyahu is shown sitting inside the cockpit of a B-2 stealth bomber alongside US President Donald Trump, a dramatic visual that appears to symbolize close Israeli military cooperation against Iran. On the same day, December 24, Netanyahu also said that Israel is dealing with multiple strategic challenges, specifically flagging Iran as one of the central security issues demanding constant attention. Earlier, on December 22, the Israeli Prime Minister vowed a harsh response to Iran after Tehran conducted large-scale military drills, warning that any perceived provocation would be met with firm action. Notably, reports suggest that Netanyahu and Trump are expected to meet on December 29 in Florida, a high-profile encounter that could shape the next phase of Israeli coordination on Iran. Netanyahu will reportedly use that meeting to push the United States to consider renewing military strikes on Iran, arguing that Iran's activities pose mounting security risks that cannot be ignored. This all comes in the shadow of the 12-day war fought between Iran and Israel in June, a conflict that the United States later joined, dramatically raising the stakes across the wider Middle East. During that war, the US and Israel struck Iranian nuclear-related sites, and later in September, Europe's E3 group moved to reimpose UN sanctions on Iran, deepening Tehran's sense of international isolation. In a surprising move, Israeli officials recently admitted that their campaign failed to fully destroy Iran's missile program, an acknowledgement that Tehran's offensive capabilities remain largely intact. According to reporting cited by outlets like the Times of Israel, Iran's ballistic missile arsenal is roughly where it stood on the eve of war, suggesting only limited long-term damage to its stockpiles. Reports indicate that even after the 12-day war, Iran still fields around 2,000 heavy ballistic missiles, underscoring how substantial its missile forces remain despite repeated strikes. Notably, Iran's proposed 2026 defense budget surged following the June war with Israel, reaching new highs as the government redirected resources to the military and security sector. Tehran's defense and security spending has reportedly risen by about 145% compared with the previous year, a jump that officials link directly to the aftermath of the 12-day conflict with Israel. The government has said that total defense and security allocations for 2026 amount to approximately $9.23 billion, based on current exchange rate estimates used in the budget bill. Authorities have framed this dramatic surge in spending as necessary to strengthen deterrence and manage the growing array of security threats Iran faces at home and across the region.